As we approach the end of another week, which I hope was a positive week for you, I hope that you take some time, and that I do as well, to be reflective. So often our eyes are meant to be looking out and used for seeing the world, what we're meant to be doing in it, what we're meant to take from it, to glean from it. We're harvesters all the time of experiences and riches of life, but we have to shift, as we know, to also giving back, and also to using our eyes to look inward, to ask ourselves important questions, to examine the lives that we're leading. Otherwise, we'll be led and realize at the end that we didn't follow our own course. We followed the course of events and circumstances, that we weren't the driving force in our decisions, but that we were, as I've said before, buffeted by life and forced into decisions because of things that happened, circumstances. Well, I want to ask you a challenging question, which is a simply put one. Are you living, am I living, are we living our lives to our fullest potential? Right now, your life might seem a little smaller, more shrunken than it might have been because of coronavirus, because of circumstances in your own story, personal story. But I want to ask you, even in those conditions, even under those conditions and circumstances, are you living to your potential? Are you living this moment in life to your potential? Is this day, is this week an example of a life well lived? Or do you feel like maybe the gambler who leaves some chips on the table unused, unspent? The tragedy, of course, in life is if we have gifts and opportunities and we don't grasp them and we don't use them. If God gave us gifts that we keep in a closet, that we never take out, that violin we never play, that song we never sing, that book we never write, that phone call we never make to connect with someone because we'll do it another day, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And ultimately, in all of our lives, tomorrow catches up with us and we realize that we never lived that potential, that we never were the peacemaker, that we never were the lover of another human being, the comforter, the strengthener, the listener to another person's equally challenging story. I think about tragedy, and the greatest tragedy, I believe, and since the Greeks invented tragedy in terms of plays, human beings have always known tragedy, which was sometimes depicted in literature, but often depicted in life, when people don't do enough to grasp life itself, when people don't do enough and instead put their arms in the air and say, why me? The tragedy of not living life fully and well. I think about Mark Twain, and he wrote a wonderful short story, a tragedy. It's about a man who spends years and years in a prison cell, only to discover that the door to his cell was never locked. Ask yourself today if that applies to you or any area of your life. Share this with somebody who might benefit from Mark Twain's simple wisdom. And I hope this leads to a good week, good weekend, and better days ahead for all of you, for all of us.